Do you remember that time when you were really happy with your job? In fact, do you remember that job that you started off in and said, this is the best job ever? Well, what happened to those jobs? I don't know. With time, things change. You have another awakening. You see some things that you couldn't see before, and times change. Well, this episode is about the best jobs there are to have out there. U.S. News and World Reports sends out another best list, and they talk about the best jobs. We will see where you fall on the best jobs list, but all I know is I have the best job ever.
Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarrett Patton.
Welcome to this episode of Licensed to Live. My name is Dr. Jarrett Patton, and I am your host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Just go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. While you're there, please rate this episode and give me honest feedback so I can make sure I provide you with the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. You guys know what I mean when I say dissed. If you've been displaced, disgruntled, disenfranchised, this is the place for you. You can take this show and use it to turn your career around into something you love. And today, we are talking about the 100 best jobs, allegedly, that there are out there, allegedly. According to U.S. News and World Report, they put out the best lists of almost everything, as you guys know, and it makes it go. Now, you heard me in the intro say that I have the best job. Well, I truly feel like I have the best job out there. As a career coach, I get to work with so many people who are looking to improve their lives on a number of different ways, whether they're ready to venture out on their own and start a new business or a venture for themselves, or if they're looking to move up the corporate ladder. These are the things that I love helping people with, and looking at the success people have had over the years, I can't find another job that I would love to do so much. And well, let's face it, career coach did not turn up on the U.S. News and World list, at least in the top 100, which I personally found incredibly shocking with the other things that were on there, like, random things like a wind turbine technician was ranking in there in the 50s. And I don't even know any wind turbine technicians, but I would like to meet one. So if you know a wind turbine technician, have them hit me up on social media at Dr. Jarrett. Spell out the word Dr. J-A, 2 R's, E, 1 T. And that way I can learn a little bit more about that profession and what is so good about it. But career coach was not on the list. Well, a lot of you guys are out here wondering, well, what cracked the list? What's on the top? Don't worry. You can skip ahead to the show notes if you want. The link to the article's right there. But if you want to hear what some of these maybe top 10 are, and then some of the surprises that you'll find within there, you're going to have to hang on until after we finish thanking our sponsors.
Hey guys, this is Janae Noonan, and I'm here with Dr. Jarrett on Licensed to Live. Hit the subscribe, follow the journey. Let's go.
Something smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better
this is Dr. Jarrett Patton. Do you need more positivity in your life? No matter what part of your life you want to transform, positive affirmations can help you achieve your goals. But sometimes making permanent changes can be difficult. Designed with you in mind, License to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. License to Live. Daily affirmations to rebuild your life will set you on the path to changing your mindset, beliefs, speech, and ultimately your actions. You can change your life now by getting your copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your finer book retails, or licensedtolive.com. That's licensedtolive.com. Hey, fire starters! July 14th, 15th, 16th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Bellevue Hotel. License to Live, the conference 2023 is about to begin. We are in the midst of lining up an incredible slate of speakers that will have inspiring stories, practical details, and ways that you can get your life and your career in order. This is the fourth year that we've done this. We've had so much time, fun doing this, that we know we're going to continue to do this. So go to licensetolive.com right now and reserve your early bird special. I do like meeting all you guys at the conference. And we're going to have a virtual portion of it this year too, for those that can't travel or aren't able. And just knowing how expensive it can be to travel sometimes, we're going to make it available to everyone. So don't hesitate to sign up today. Yeah, I remember thinking back to a few jobs that I thought were the best job ever that I had in my days of working. Now, many of you guys know that I'm a pediatrician, and pediatricians popped up on the U.S. news list relatively high, which you can have a really good and decent lifestyle, job satisfaction. You're able to help people. You're able to do some things being a pediatrician. I did that for many years of my life. So I think that's great, but that wasn't the best job ever. So I thought, well, at certain times I did think it was the best job ever. And many times I really enjoyed some of the things that I got to do in that job. But really the best job ever that I remember really takes me back to my teenage years. I happened to sit on the youth board of directors for a local bank. And it was an interesting position because, well, you're still a high school student, but you got to learn about a board of directors, what that does. You got to learn a little bit more about banking. And something that cropped out of that is me actually getting a paid position as an employee of this bank. Now, as a 17-year-old kid, there wasn't a whole lot that I could do there, but they gave me the position of mailroom assistant. So I would spend the days when I would get out of school, sometimes on the weekend, definitely during the summer when I was able to kind of take that position on in a full role. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, I got to get the mail from the post office, sort it, and deliver it all around this bank office. Although the work itself, you had to be very paying attention to detail. You had to read a lot of these envelopes and packages and where they were going and try to get them all delivered timely. And that was all fine and dandy, but I got to meet some people. People got to know me just kind of walking around the place. And it wasn't very long before they gave me an increase in responsibility. I said, okay, well, what can I do to help? I said, okay, you're going to go run with this guy today. You're going to make a run and you're going to go on your training. And when you come back, you'll take this job over. Now, what I didn't know is that, now that a high school kid was in here making a little bit of money, some of the people that had these jobs before were a little bit mad and upset and said, why are they hiring somebody else? How much is he getting paid? This, that, and the other. And so it caused a little bit of an uproar. And I didn't know that people were actually going to leave their jobs or look for other jobs as a result of this. But I hop in this, nondescript Dodge Caravan and head off with this guy for this next level of training. He just hopped in the van, had a couple of bags with him, and off we went. And I said, so they told me I was going to do a new training today. So what are we going to be doing? We're going to the post office? He said, no. This has nothing to do with the post office. This has everything to do with ATMs. Now, ATMs were relatively new back in these days. And, well, they needed to have maintenance and daily upkeep and some record keeping before all these things got completely digitized. And held within these 2 bags that this guy jumped in the van were tens of thousands of dollars that we go load the ATMs with. And I said, oh, this is how this all gets done. I said, yeah, usually I just go out here, I park in the lane that blocks the lane, and then I go back in the little room with the ATM and go do the magic. So he went on to show me how to stack the bills, how to arrange them, how to get the printouts, how to do the quick audit at the ATM as things were going on. And then we went about our day. And I said, oh, that's pretty cool. And it wasn't long later that week, they started sending me out on my own. Now, of course, my parents were thinking about this, and they're like, wait a minute, they're giving you $20,000, $30,000, and you're just going around by yourself in a Dodge Caravan loading up ATMs? I mean, isn't this dangerous? I didn't think anything of it. I mean, who's going to sit here and arm rob a Dodge Caravan? I don't know. So I wasn't thinking of it from that perspective. But as I got older, I said, yeah, that was pretty crazy. They would give this to a teenage kid to do this kind of work. But I got very proficient at working with the ATM, troubleshooting, putting in the receipt paper, putting in the bills, and all of that fun stuff. And I thought this was the best job in the world because, well, I at least get to handle $20,000 every day, and I get to sit around and meet new people, and then I get to work by myself and have some alone time and to think while I'm doing these things. And I thought it was the best job in the world until I took the training to become a teller, and then I thought that was the best job in the world. And then as time went on, I went off to school, health professions, you know the rest. And there were a few times along my journey that I thought it was cool to have some of the best jobs in the world. And I'm really enthusiastic about many of the jobs that I started over the years. And I am pretty loyal. So I tended to stick around with companies for a long time over my career. By the way, I didn't see mail carrier on the list. I did not see ATM loader on the list, or even ATM technician on the list of the top 100 best jobs. But I did see a number of very familiar jobs that could be very interesting for all of you guys. And well, the top one on the list is a software developer. All right, that's pretty cool. They make good money. They have a good lifestyle up here, but they are the number one job according to U.S. News and World Report. Wow. All right. Never knew that. So if anybody is interested in becoming a software developer, sounds like a good place to be right now. Number 2 on the list was nurse practitioner. That's interesting. Well, many of you fire starters listening to this show, you may be a nurse practitioner yourself. You certainly know a few nurse practitioners. And it seems like it could be a good job. Now, of course, there's a lot of nurse practitioner bashing out there. I don't do that on my show because I think in healthcare, we have to work as a team as it is anyway. But lots of people don't like the occupation of nurse practitioner, and maybe because they have a little hate because U.S. News and World Report says, hey, that's the number 2 job out there. Best job ever. Then the top 10 list is also speckled with a few other healthcare related fields, like number 3, medical and health services manager. Well, we need people to be managing health services all the time. In fact, you'll hear people complain, or maybe you've complained yourself, that maybe we need some other management. And for those of you who are looking to become management, well, this is another sign for you. Maybe it's time to keep going on that road, leveling up your skills, getting ready for that next phase of your own career. Number 4, physician assistant. That's a job that we know many people. And again, it is a best job out there. Number 4 on that list. Information security analyst. Number 5. Well, if any of you guys have been hacked or get those letters in the mail that your information has been stolen from somebody, well, yeah, there's definitely a need for more IS analysts. And really, we need some help there. So that doesn't surprise me. Number 6, physical therapist. Number 7, financial manager. Number 8, IT manager. Number 9, web developer. And rounding out the top 10 are dentists. So all my fire starter dentists out there, you guys are living it up. You guys made the top 10, and people often say that your job is pretty good as a dentist and you're doing some good things there. So, hey, congrats to all those people on the top 10 list. And if you're looking for a new career option, well, maybe these are ones for you. Well, you won't be surprised some of the ones that didn't make the top 10 list. Now, they have a whole list of 100, so you can peruse through there. And most of these are on there. But lawyers didn't make the top 10. Obviously doctors didn't make the top 10. Physicians. Well, let's talk about physicians. Physicians landed at number 13 on the list. So surrounding physicians on the list includes veterinarians at number 12 and orthodontists at number 14. So what does that say? A lot of people joke and say, you know what, being a veterinarian would have been something to do in another day because you go through lots of training, you take care of patients, much the same, but you don't have a lot of the same type of paperwork, the same type of oversight, the same type of insurance compensation issues. And people tend to run their own shops. So veterinarians tend to be very good. And and orthodontists as well, they've long been one of those highly sought after careers. In fact, my youngest son came home, about a year ago or so, and he kind of did some research on a jobs project they were doing in school. And he's like, I want to be an orthodontist. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know much about being an orthodontist. What does that mean? He said, oh, well, you get to take care of patients. You get to learn a lot about the mouth and the teeth. You get extra special training that makes your expertise more sophisticated than other people. And he had a whole long list of things. And he said, hey, and at the end of the day, you have a number of technicians that are doing the job. They're getting stuff done. You come in, check everything out, make sure it's okay, and you get back to drinking coffee. And so this is my same son to go on. His initial plan was to be a car salesman, maybe even a used car salesman, because he felt like he could make a lot of money doing that, sitting back, drinking coffee, telling people what to do, and just selling the cars that were on the lot. So he thinks about this job thing a lot. And this is even before I became a career coach. So I don't even give him advice anymore. But nonetheless, veterinarians and orthodontists tend to have highly desirable jobs, but they still let physicians on that number 13 list. So all of you guys out there, do you say yay or nay with physicians being number 13 on the 100 best jobs list? And there's certainly lots of good things out there I can say about being a physician, as many of you guys can. And, there's a lot of headaches and drama associated with being a physician. And I know I certainly got a couple lumps on the head from just because I was a physician. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, you need to pick the right things that are good for you at the right time. And when I was an ATM loader, that was the right thing for me at the right time. I thought it was a great job. I was making great money, and I had some pretty cool responsibilities. As a pediatrician, I thought that was a pretty great job too. and time went on and things changed. So you may not always have the top job in mind, but you have to do something that's good for you there. There are too many things that can get you into all types of dissatisfaction in life. And quite frankly, your job shouldn't be one of them. So if you're struggling right now, even if you're in one of these top 10 or top 50 industries, and you're wondering, well, why is everybody else so happy and why am I not? Well, it could be because you are not doing the right thing. You may not be using your talents to the way you need to be. You may not be using your time to the best of its ability. You may be simply being looked over in the shuffle and just kind of out there. So take a few moments, come up with some things that you like, come up with maybe what's your overall purpose, and then go backwards from there and try to figure out what you're having in your job. Now, in addition to the 100 best jobs, there are some healthcare specific jobs, and we're going to get down to the healthcare list right after we finish thanking our sponsor.
The time is now to refresh your career. We help doctors, lawyers, executives, and VIPs refresh and restart. Dr. Jarrett's coaching helps you build confidence, gain more credibility, develop more leadership skills, and gain clarity in your career path. Want to climb the executive ladder or branch out on your own? We'll put your career in overdrive. Visit drjarrett.com and sign up for your free strategy session.
Hey, at any time you have a question, you're trying to troubleshoot something, timewithdrjarrett.com. Sign up, get that strategy session. We talk about it. And if nothing else, you are going to leave with a plan. So hit me up. So now we'll get to the healthcare specific list. There were a number of very interesting careers on this list. Doctors, physicians were not number one on this list, just so you know, as you might have figured. But, well, if you're really paying attention, you probably know who number one already is based on the overall list. But we'll back it up a little bit. We will look at the 10th most bestest. We'll call it the most bestest list on this career list. And that's a nurse anesthetist. Now, when I was in college, I thought maybe I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. I wanted to become a doctor, and putting people to sleep seemed like a fun job. And I thought it would use my chemistry. It would use some of the things I had interest in, but that never really panned out because, well, as many of you guys know, when you go off to school, you start getting more exposure, you start liking other things, and time goes on. But had I known about nurse anesthetists back in those days, I might have just been okay with doing that, getting the training to do that, and have a great career, some great hours, great salary, because there are a number of nurse anesthetists that are making more money than physicians out there. Well, that's great. Good for them. And, you know, since I recently had my colonoscopy done and spoke at length with the nurse anesthetist who took care of me, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, I had no memory of what was about to happen to me. I was not going to wake up. I was going to be fully asleep. I was very, very pleased with the job that the nurse anesthetist did with me. So I can understand how that is a great career option for people. But then going up, number 9 is oral and maxillofacial surgeon. So a surgeon cracks the top 10 list in healthcare. Registered nurse comes in at 8. Orthodontist, number 7 overall. There goes physician, number 6 best job that's out there. Veterinarian, number 5. Dentist, number 4. Physical therapist, number 3. Physician assistant, number 2. And, well, as you might have guessed, nurse practitioner tops the healthcare list. So there is a strong need out there for other members of the healthcare team to be out there. So none of this really surprised me. I guess, you know, when you mix the top 10 best jobs with the best career satisfaction, that would be a great intersection to do. So maybe I'll send a note to U.S. News and World Report and say, this is great. These are great jobs, at their face level. But let's just add in overall life satisfaction and see where things would shake out with that. I think that would be interesting because a lot of you out there do think you have the best job ever. So, a lot more of you guys thinking, well, I could probably do better, in which you probably could. But, this at the end of the day is what we have to do to move on. We have to find something to pay the bills. We have to find something that will entertain us during the day. And if you aren't finding that in your life, if you aren't at least finding an entertainment value out of your job, then you are definitely doing the right job. Now, where do I go if I'm not in the right job? Any number of directions. Best way, so you're not spending a whole lot of time, is to speak with someone that's been there. Reach out to a colleague or a friend who's taken that road in which you want to go, because you can get some great, insightful advice. And this time, which can make you, really have an enlightened moment in your life saying this career pathway really could be right for me. But if you guys are at a crossroads right now, don't sweat it. It may not be immediately obvious to you which direction you need to go. It may not even make sense to you right now which direction you need to go, but stay with the process. Things will develop, and they don't always develop in our own time, but they do tend to develop. And that's what I want you guys to know, that with this time, it can be your time. But in order for it to be your time, you're going to have to step out there. You might have to get a little uncomfortable. You might have to try something different or do something new. And it may be something you've never done before, but that's okay. You are building yourself all the time. And if after all of that, you're still at a crossroads, make sure you hit me up, because I love talking to people and meeting new people and helping people straighten out some of these things that come along in their career. And of course, you can always come to License to Live, the conference. Remember, fire starters, if you or anyone you know has been dissed with their job and healthcare or any other place, please invite them to join us along this journey. Simply go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. And in between episodes, I'm always doing stuff. So make sure you're checking me out on social media. You may see some of my travels, some of the people that I run into, or simply just shout out and ask me a question. You can find me anywhere, particularly on LinkedIn at Dr. Jarrett. Spell out the word Dr. J-A-2-R-E-1-T, and we will see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarrett's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.